Streaming live on WHITradio.org from High Tech High School in North Bergen, New Jersey. It's the Ashley Show. I'm your announcer, Crazy Carlos. Now your host, Ashley.
Good morning. I'm your host, Ashley, and with me today is Carlos, Aisha, and Kamel. And behind the glass is the lovely Caesar. Today's topics are abortion, and I kind of just want to talk about these two main questions, and how is it that one group's belief is often put in front of someone else's when it comes to abortion, and another one is, isn't it a woman's right to choose?
Mm-hmm.
So unplanned pregnancy is very common. At least half of all pregnancies are planned, and most are unplanned. And in 1 in 5 pregnancies, a woman will choose to have an abortion. This is a big problem in society now. Everyone has their own beliefs, and it's actually going into the well, not yet, but it's being brought up to the Supreme Court, and abortion will probably be illegal for some people in the States. How do you guys feel about that?
I know down south, some states already, they don't allow it, and it's tough. I know New Jersey does allow it. New Jersey, I think, is one of the only few states that if you're a minor, you don't need parental consent to get an abortion. So, if you're 17 or 16 and you get pregnant, you can just do it without your parents knowing, which, you should always let your parents, something like that happens. But if you want to be discreet about it, if your parents are very strict or you're not going to get kicked out, then it is a good alternative. So, luckily, we live in a state where it's more accepting towards it. We're a more liberal and progressive state. Well, a state like Alabama or Mississippi will have either very conservative or no laws for abortion whatsoever.
How about you? Any opinions at all?
I like the right that New Jersey has a choice. I like that we have choices about abortion. But the only thing is, I'm not big. In my opinion, I'm not that big on abortion. I feel like if you have sex, you have to pay the consequences if you're going to have a child or not. And if you, God forbid, the kind of broke or something happened, you have to take responsibility in your own hands and take care of the child, in my opinion. Because I think even though you're not ready, and some girls are 13, 14 years old, and if they're ready to have sex, and that's an adult decision, they have the right to take care of the child as an adult decision too.
But isn't sex a pleasure?
It's a pleasure.
It is a pleasure. Why should you give that up for a kid?
We're the only one of two species that actually does that for non-mating purposes.
For fun.
I think it's easy to say, I'm against abortion. I know, everyone, the minute they hear, the killing of babies,
you're against it until it happens
but
to you.
The option should always be there. Okay, if you want to keep your child, but there's always going to be girls who have gotten raped. Yeah. There's always going to be girls who, things get done to them, and, what if they're not ready to have a child? That option should always be there.
Financially stable, or you're alone.
The one thing, too, is that whenever you see any anti-abortion propaganda, it's always you see a dead fetus being ripped from the mother's image. Yeah. And the thing is that a lot of abortions aren't like that. They make a pill for that.
Yes, they
do. And you can do it within your first trimester, within the first 10 weeks, where literally it just causes a miscarriage. So that's the thing. Abortion, the information we get, it's so misconstrued and not true that you assume you assume it's murder. But in reality, the pill just causes a miscarriage. That's the safer alternative to having an actual abortion.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think your conscience won't be clear on what's the process you'll be doing, what you're going to do? Say if I was pregnant and my parents are very strict. If I was pregnant, my parents would kill me and I get kicked out the house and live with my boyfriend. If I don't want my parents to know and my only option is to take an abortion, okay, yes, my parents relationship is good. My boyfriend and my relationship is good. Everyone to society, I'm normal again. But deep down inside, that I could have been a mother. My feelings towards my child, you already have an attachment. I think when you find out, either you're happy or sad and nervous. You mix emotion on the child, but you're gonna know for a fact you're gonna have an attachment to it. So I believe that don't do it. In my opinion, don't do it because you, God forbid, you can't like say that's the only child you could ever have, and the next time you try to have it, you can't have a child again. What you gonna? For example, only you got it. How about you can't have another child again? How you gonna feel?
I think every mother naturally is attached to a child, but the thing is, some people don't feel comfortable bringing a child into the circumstances that they're in. So it's like you rather like bring your child and have them suffer anyway. You know, like you're low on money. You know, like nope. Let's say your parents kick you out the house already. You're out in the street. Like, you know, some people just don't want to bring a child into that situation.
What if you get a test done and it shows your kid's gonna have birth defects and a hard life? Would you want to bring your child into a hard life where he's gonna be an outcast from everyone else, where he's gonna have a hard time adjusting, where he's gonna have impurities and all that stuff?
Do you have enough time on your hands to
even take care of the kid? The money? Do you want to put that kid through that, or would you rather put it out of its eventual misery?
I feel like
this statement, the thing you just said about if you have an abortion, you might not even be able to have a pregnancy.
The thing is that back when abortion was being practiced more and more, those side effects were there, but now they're so minute that
it's safe.
Yeah, it's now you have a very, very slim chance of having complications later on.
I mean, now there's the morning after pill.
Yeah.
You have to just take care of yourself. If you're going to make that big, giant step with whoever you do, whatever, you have to know what you
get yourself into.
And take care of yourself.
The morning after pill, it's $50 in exchange for either $1,500 for an abortion or $15,000 or more for a full-term thing.
And it's the same thing as the abortion pill.
Yeah.
It prevents pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that is a poor excuse to if you're thinking about getting an abortion is it costs too much money. Delivering a baby costs $15,000 to $30,000 or more.
Oh,
that is insane. An abortion is a fraction of the cost.
That's true.
I don't know, but
just have safe sex. That's it. That's all. Or believe in abstinence. If anything,
you don't have to give it up completely. Just know what you're doing.
But be smart about it. If you're gonna make an adult decision, just be smart about it. That's all you gotta do.
I feel our health classes, our sex education, should be more advanced.
The thing is that for the most part, they always tell us don't do it. Even in high tech, for the most part, the whole theme is don't do it.
Yeah,
and I mean,
but people are still doing it. If you think we're not, then you're lying.
It's you gotta be smart. You gotta teach your kids what are the options, what are the alternatives.
It should be taught in your house too.
It's you can't just teach them condoms and spermicide because all right, that's one way. But if those will eventually fail, there's so many other alternatives.
There's so many.
Not once have I heard our teacher mention the morning after pill, a diaphragm, the IUD.
Yeah, they just don't.
It's considered inappropriate. And then when the person gets pregnant,
they blame them.
It's inappropriate having a kid come to school pregnant and then having that kid not be able to come to school.
Yeah, that's true. Having a kid, and then they judge you and they stereotype these teen mothers, but it's not.
Well, it shouldn't be a problem if you're not willing to properly educate them and give them the knowledge they need and the support to do whatever they want, then it's going to be a problem. Schools like Union City, they have daycares in their high school.
Cass Prep used to have a daycare in their high school.
Yeah, that's why in the back they had all that playground stuff. Yeah, that's what it was for.
They should do that. I mean, it's common now. We can't just turn our backs and be like, no, we're not having sex. No, what is that?
That's unrealistic.
Get out of here. That's not even... real. That's not real.
But I agree with Carlos and Ashley. I feel like we should talk about more options instead of don't have sex. Let's be real here. Even freshmen, even 8th graders, 7th graders are having sex. Yes, and it's ridiculous.
I could not believe that.
I'm very shocked. And I feel like options are more maybe because me and my parents do not talk about sex in our house.
That's big.
We do not. It's not even an option to talk about it in our house. And if we have a question about it, it's we're saying 21 questions. Why are you asking about it? Why are you doing this about it? So I understand where people come from. And when we talk about it in school, I'm like, oh really? You could do that? Oh really? Or TV or internet?
You see it everywhere now. You can't hide it from
You can't
your
hide it no more.
You have to be honest. My mother, she's honest with me.
So
she's
is
just
my
honest.
dad.
She sits down and she's like, don't get pregnant. I'm not gonna tell you that you're not doing what you're doing if you're doing it. And I'm just telling you, there's lots of ways not to.
My parents live in a fantasy world. Like that could never happen to your child.
No.
Like no.
I had a similar
it's
talk
like
with my mom yesterday.
I'm like the only boy in the panel. It's like ever since I was like 15, my dad's always said, I don't care what you do as long as you're gonna go pregnant. You can do anything else, just don't do that. Like, all right, that's fair. That is a fair rule.
But you know what's crazy? Like even my brothers, I have brothers, and one of my brothers are not married to his significant other. They're engaged but not married, and she already have 3 kids. Okay. They already have 3 kids, and I get mad at my father because he's accepting to them. Like
he's a boy. That's
yeah,
why.
he's a boy. But God forbid if something happens to me or my sisters, it's a whole crisis. And I feel like that's wrong too. That's sexist on his part. Why? Because I'm the one who's carrying the child. I'm the one who's gonna give birth to the child. I'm the one who's 50-50 chance that I have to stay with my child and the dude could leave me for the rest of his life and not have responsibility for the child. That's not fair. That is not fair.
The one thing too is that probably in your father's eyes, your brother is stepping up and taking care of his kids as a family. Whereas like when like your daughter gets pregnant at a young age, it looks bad on the father himself. It's like, oh, I failed as a parent, my daughter. So maybe like that's what his mentality. It's like if his son gets pregnant and steps up, then he did something right. But if his daughter gets pregnant, then he did something wrong.
But how about the father? Okay, say if I was and my boyfriend came to my father and spoke to my father, he was like, oh, I got Kamel pregnant. Oh, I'm going to step up and do this and circus. He would still kill him. So regardless of he talked to him in a casual manner, I said, Mr. Cologne, this is the circumstances and Kamel's going to do this. I'm going to help Kamel do this. It's still wrong. I'm still wrong. He's still wrong. But my brother and my father get a phone call saying, oh, I got this girl pregnant. And I got another girl from Mexico got pregnant. And I got one Japan got pregnant. Oh, my brother got an applause because he's taking care of his kids. That's not fair. I don't know. This is why my
that is a problem. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. You get me? That could be so upset because I'm a girl, and I feel like society still is sexist to girls and to anybody, woman, girl, anybody. If you're a female into society, it's sexist, and I get really upset. You can walking down the street. A guy could be pregnant to 10 different women, and he doesn't know. But if a girl gets pregnant at a young age, only 16 to 1 or 2 children, it's a problem in society's eyes. And she's like, oh, she ruined her life. And I hate when people say that. That's my father's next term. Yeah, you ruin your life at a young age. You don't ruin your life. And I tell my father this all the time. My friends doesn't ruin her life. It's just going to be a little harder. But she could do it. If she put all her strength and mind into it, she could still do it. She could do it. She could graduate high school. She could graduate college. It's going to be a lot harder than it was before, but she could do it if she put her mentality into it.
Yeah. All teen moms just need the support. Mm-hmm. That's it. Which they rarely get from their parents. But I think the world is evolving.
And the one thing that bothers me that this show's like 16 and pregnant, they kind of like glorify teen pregnancy as like this weird. And who was it? Sarah Palin's daughter. When she was running for president, Sarah Palin, her daughter got pregnant, and then like I think a spike increase in teen pregnancy. Like people wanted to be like her. I'm like, why? It's not an ideal.
Yeah, she had a show.
Like situation.
The pregnancy pack.
Yeah.
Did you guys
oh my
hear
God,
that?
it's
That's
ridiculous.
crazy. These girls see this on MTV and they think that if they get pregnant young, they'll be movie stars or whatever they think they're gonna get out of having a child. That's just it's a hard
Someone
decision.
from West Bergen might actually be on there. Just saying.
Oh,
just random. Just do that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a really tough decision.
But you have to look at the outcome too. You lose your friends and not accepting your family might not be accepting. It depends on the people.
If you're getting being pregnant is not a crime. One, I just gotta let that out. It's not a crime, and having an abortion is not a crime either, and it should not be a crime. It should not be illegal because it's your right. It should be your right. You should come first, not a fetus. You should first, and don't let anyone ever change your mind or try to make you believe in something that it's not. Just do you. And if anyone doesn't accept you, then they're not worth your time.
Keep them out of your life.
And
It's your choice, no one else's.
Yep.
And leading up to your second question, the woman has the right to choose for an abortion or not.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely right. A woman should have the right to choose if you want to have an abortion, because the father of the child is not gonna hold the baby for 9 months, not gonna have the motion sickness, not gonna have the cravings, not gonna have the pain. They will never experience how it hurts and how tough it is gonna be pregnant. And I feel like it's an option for the woman. And if the person that is gonna have your child does not accept the fact that you're gonna kill his child, then leave him, because they're not gonna suffer. You're gonna want.
You don't have to tell your partner.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell your husband if you have an abortion. It's all like
confidential,
because it's your decision.
Yeah.
To piggyback what Camille said, the reason why I'm pro-choice is because I'm a man, and I don't know what it's like to give birth. I don't want to know what it's like to give birth. So therefore, I'm in no place, and I have no right to dictate what a woman should do with her body.
Exactly what my
So it bothers me at like these like 75-year-old like Republican conservatives appealing to Congress saying why abortion is bad. I'm like, dude, you don't have a uterus. You're not gonna swell for 9 months.
How could men speak for women?
It's like,
when
look,
it comes to that, right?
Yeah.
That's
the
true.
only reason you won't see your feet is because you're gonna get fat, but that's not because of pregnancy. You're just gonna let yourself go. There's a huge difference here. Like, you don't know what it's like.
You lose your body. Like, let's be real here. If I lose my body, and I love my body.
We're talking
not
as
being
young.
so conceited.
Now we're
and
just
I-
talking about like
It's
as
crazy.
young women. I want to stay in shape.
I like to stay in shape. Like, you're a teenager and about to be an early adult. You gotta stay in shape. There's gonna be obesity problems, and we're not doing that. We don't do those.
Just at the end of the day, just practice safe sex, guys. Don't act like you're not doing it. Just be honest. Honesty
It's the best policy.
is the best policy when
And
it
if
comes
anything,
down
if
to
anything
that.
does happen, abortion is not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Don't think your life
Or-
just ends just because of that. I don't think
Or
that
you're a bad person.
when you plan to have an abortion, you just go in and you have an abortion. No, the staff actually talks to you. And
Yeah,
they-
it's this whole process. Like,
It's a
you have
whole
to be
process.
screened. Like, they have to do like an ultrasound, and they have to be like, they actually talk you through all your options first. And then once you firmly decide, I think it's like you can't decide right then and there. You have to wait like a few hours, like a day, and then you come back, and then once then you got to do it. And
Or-
if you, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
No,
cut
go
off.
ahead, honey.
But
Go ahead.
another thing is, abortion's that's not the only option. Adoption is another option too.
Adoption should not be an option. It just shouldn't be.
Why not?
Like, why do people always think that if you get pregnant and you can't have an abortion, but you can put it up for adoption?
Well,
a child
well-
will always end up on the
Well,
adoption.
Well, all right. Let me ask you a question. What if a foster family can't have kids?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is
and
one
they
of the
actually
only
want
option.
one.
Have you ever been in the system,
No,
the foster system? You never been?
no,
No, right?
no.
It's horrible.
It's horrible, but like, all right. Let's say if Camille knows a family that she's known for a few years, and like, God forbid you get pregnant, but this family has been trying for 10 years and they can never get pregnant. And what if you offer, I will give you this baby?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
then
this always
then
end out bad.
then-
Like, always.
that gives them the chance to raise a family.
Yeah.
Like that's like the one silver lining from teen pregnancy. You can give someone else the chance to raise a family when you know you can.
And like this couple in my church, they try fertility treatment. They try every known demand. They try adoption and they failed twice. So they will
hard.
pay
It's a
money.
hard process.
They
It's a hard
pay
process.
money to give a child. They want children, and then, and they're the nicest couple, and they can't have a child. And I feel so bad. And if I could, I would to like. They pay for your college. They were like have mad options for like teenagers or anybody. And it's not like you can't interview the parents either.
Yeah.
You interview
Oh,
them.
you could do
Yeah,
that.
it is a big screening process,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
and like you can't decide right away. You have to wait like months.
Yeah, and I feel
And,
like
and then even then, after the mother gives birth, you have 48 hours as a like parental right to keep the baby. So if you decide last minute you want to keep it, you still have 2 days to commit.
but I feel like that's wrong too because you say I'm gonna give up my child, I'm gonna give up my child, and I'm gonna give my child, and then the last day you decide to keep it. It breaks my heart because it's like you're like craving for your child. I'm gonna be a mother. We're gonna be a family, even though that's not my blood. But I'm gonna take care of it as it is my blood. And all of a sudden, the last minute, I'm going to keep my child. I feel you got to decide up your mind right now. Don't play the BS game when it comes to somebody's heart. And it's depending on your child. And you have to think first, it's your child's life, too.
There's so many kids on in adoption, though.
Yeah, but...
So if I don't feel like giving you my baby after a while, oh, wow.
But how about you know the parents and you got committed to them and you got attached to them and all of that. And it's not like they're going to be greasy and like, you cannot see your child ever again. Like that. Some people are like that. Don't get me wrong. If you have like, if you're a crack addict or you like sell drugs, I'm not gonna let you see the child until I know you clean.
Why would I want a crack baby's baby?
But how about it's clean? Like, let's be real. If it's clean or something. No, I'm being real. No, if it's clean and like and stuff like that, and the baby is like it's fine and healthy, but you have a parent that is like nice and everything, I'm gonna let you keep my child. But I want right now as the child as a teenager, right, has the right if he wants to get to know his birth mother and stuff like that.
And the thing is that too, like a lot of like the biological parents, they choose not to see their children as
I
like
would choose not to see that kid.
At least until they're adults, because then then if like let's say if your adopted kid's like 15, 14, whatever, and you come to his life then. There's going to be so many questions and influx, but once that kid's an adult, then that's an appropriate time to intervene in his life, not when he's still growing up to be an adult. So I think at that point, he or she will be emotionally stable and all that stuff. It's a really iffy process and topic.
And what if the kid has a medical problem, and then you're not compatible, and you have to find that parent, but they already signed away their rights, and they signed away, like, you can never find out who I am or whatever.
Yeah, so all right, let's say if a kid needs a bone marrow transplant and the biological mother, they can still, like, the adopted parents can find the biological mother, and then, they can choose to whether to tell the truth or, I mean, you can still, like, donate, like, you still give your kid, like, bone marrow. But you can choose whether or not
you let them know that I'm your mom and I'm giving you some
it's like as far as the kid knows, it's a match. That's it.
Yeah.
The kid will know where it came from or anything.
Having a child in general is just a really big decision. Having an abortion is a big decision. It really is.
It's hard.
It's personally, like, in my opinion, if you're college bound or in high school, I just personally feel abortion would be like one of the best options. Because that way you can, you can get the abortion pill, be done within a weekend, and go back to your life. You don't have to worry.
Yeah. Well,
oh no.
Abortion it can be a difficult choice, and it can be emotional. Just talk to someone you trust, and make sure you're getting accurate information, people. Right, there's myths out there.
PlannedParenthood.org.
Yes, I agree with that. Talk to someone.
If anyone in the county needs an abortion or any services like that, there's a clinic in Hoboken.
Yeah, there's free clinics, and you don't need to pay nothing. It's free clinic. It's confidential too.
And even though it depends what type you want, like the pill can cost anywhere from $300 to $800, but generally it's a lot less because they give you a questionnaire to fill out. So like if you say, oh, I'm gonna be a single parent, I'm like 17, no more than normal, you'll get it for like $100, the whole thing.
Guys, if you want to find an abortion clinic, you can call this referral line 1-877-257-0012. Abortion is not bad.
It's an option.
It's an option. It should always be an option.
In the back of your head.
Well, thank you for watching, and thanks to our panel, Aisha, Kamel, and Carlos, and Caesar. I'm Ashley, and this is The Ashley Show on WHITradio.org.